Test,
Hear me now?
test. I just have, it's not on. You can just hear me. I don't know what specific was I? You ready, buddy? You hear me good? Okay. Meeting called to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Quinn. Councilman Foster. Councilman Harrell.
Here.
Councilman Gann.
Here.
Councilman Hatmaker. Councilwoman Manis. Here. And Mayor Burton.
Here. Do I hear a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. This evening, the prayer be given by Vice Mayor Gann. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank Thee for all You bless us with, for being able to live in this beautiful community and all the benefits we enjoy. Sometimes we forget how blessed we are to be in this place. Be with us now as we try to make it a better place, as we try to serve those that have put us in this position. We try to make Clinton the best place that it can possibly be. Be with us in all that we endeavor to do, lead, guide, and direct us. For it's in Thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Larry. Do I hear a motion for the review and approval of the minutes of the previous meeting dated March 24th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we'll recognize visitors and citizens with any praises or concerns. That's you. Yes, yes, sir. Don, you just state your name and address, please.
I'm Donnie Rosenbaum. I live at 1535 Eagle Bend Road. I've lived there since 2007. And the problem that we're having is, of course, they've been, a lot of speeders go through there. At one particular time, the police department put their sign up that says speed limit 25 mile an hour. When people get off from work, they want to go home. They don't want to look at no sign. But we had an incident, and my neighbor, I'm going to let him get up here and tell you what he saw. I didn't see it because I was in the house, but they were, when they turned off Yarnell on to Eagle Bend, right there, out there by Elizabeth and Way, there's about a quarter of a mile, I guess, straight away. And you can hear them go by. It sounds like the gun and it wide open. But the other day, they lined up in this lane and this lane and used it as a drag strip. And right out from where we were at, the live, there's a little hump. If there'd been another car coming, it'd been a head-on crash. And we're here to talk about, and we're not looking for anything fancy. We're just wanting some kind of speed bump or something to slow them down before somebody gets hurt. Pete, would you come on up here with he has signatures, and he'll tell you what he saw.
Yes, my name is Peter Meininger. I live at 102 Elizabethton Way. I live on the corner of Eagle Bend, and I was finishing up my lawn one day, and that's when these two guys, they come around the corner, they were drag racing right down the road. If somebody was coming up that hill, I would have been, and it's like an everyday occurrence, 2:30, 3:30. Matter of fact, I called in the 911 call for the drag racing incident, and it was on 4-3. And I called it in, and then maybe 20 minutes, half hour later, an officer came, but he said he didn't see anything. Of course, they're long gone. But I did call that in, and I've got 14 signatures from a lot of people up and down that road that are more than happy to have some sort of a speed bump or whatever to try to help slow things down. Because I know the police officers have, you don't have enough people to be out there every day, every hour, or whatever, but I figured we'd have something that would slow people down, that would probably really help. So,
Do you want to say a few words?
If
Council last year adopted a process for traffic calming in neighborhoods. We just went through our first one in off Yarnell Road. That was actually a success. And you can go to clinton10.net, and actually it kind of lays out the process there. But then Preston Stokes, who is our city planner, will work with you on the steps you may have to do. First of all, we define the area and want to make sure through, as you did already, but once we define the area, you'd have to do a petition. We want to make sure that the majority of the neighborhood wants them. A lot of neighborhoods don't. So we set forth a new process. It does take a little bit of time to do it because we have to do a traffic study for liability. But you can either, if you want to get on there and look at the process, then give Preston a call here at City Hall, or if you want to leave your number, I can have Preston call you.
Okay.
Either way, but
Well, I've got 14 signatures and addresses of the people right now that are on there. That's a majority of the people on that, on the road.
well, just hold on to that for now till we get the
Okay.
process. And like I said, you can either call here tomorrow and ask for Preston Stokes,
Okay.
or you leave us a number and we can have Preston call you. But the City Hall, the main number, what's Preston's direct number, you know?
259-1183.
865-259-1183, and they'll take you directly to his office.
We're not complaining about the police department now, or any of you guys.
Well, I sure
We
say,
got some good guys on the council.
good. Well, you got,
Some of you I know, and the police have been doing routine drive-throughs.
Thank you.
But most of it happens when they get off work. A lot of times in the morning when they're going to work, they're in a hurry or they're late or whatever.
and we,
That's the main area.
and we had another complaint, so Chief Campbell is new to the position, and we got Captain Bailey, who's over patrol, and CID now, so you got both of them in the room in their new position. So we talked a little bit today, some measures that they were going to take in the meantime while we look at the study and everything.
Actually, the day before, I was surprised there was a police officer had stopped somebody right by our street there, and I talked to him afterwards, and he clocked the lady at 52 and 25.
Good.
So that's the kind of speeds that they're doing.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I think definitely can step up patrol, traffic stops in the area. Thank you,
Okay.
guys, appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Good.
Hey,
Good
Donnie,
seeing you,
I mean, and we don't take this lightly. I mean, I saw Jim over there, Chief, he was writing away, so there will be action taken on that. You know, very soon, then what Roger's talking about, it may take a little bit longer, but you'll see a difference. I promise you that.
He's all done kept word on a lot of other things I've talked to you about before. As far as I'm concerned, I ain't gonna get out and road and get hit, but there's a lot of kids in the area and stuff. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
I agree.
I know you're gonna do a good job on helping us. Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
bringing that to our attention. I appreciate that. Anyone else? Don? Who? No. His dad's dad. State your name and address, please, sir.
Thanks for listening to me tonight. My name's Don Hedden. I live at 519 Greenwood Drive. And hopefully you've looked at some of the photographs that Scott was kind enough to pass around. That property is two houses down from me. That's at 515 Greenwood Drive. And that mess has been going on for over a year. And I just am concerned that it's affecting the property value of houses on my street. And how long is this going to be allowed to go on? I mean, I know I was talking with Matt over the past year. They've had stop work orders and they had permit issues, but I don't know what the status is right now. But what they've done to that hillside, it's just, they dug out behind this structure and it just has been collapsing over the last year every time it rains. And they took all the foliage off the hillside, so nothing left to hold the dirt in place, basically. So they have started building a block wall out of these large concrete blocks, but that's not going to hold that hillside up. It's going to push it out of the way, in my opinion. I don't know if there were any engineering studies done on that or any calculations as what it would take to hold that hillside up or what they're going to do. But it's just, it's an eyesore. I have to look at it every time I drive by there. And I invite any of you, please drive down my street and just look at it. Just see what you think. It's not getting any better. Every day it gets worse when they're working. It's just been sitting there for the last week. They haven't done anything. So they're giant piles of dirt, as you may have seen in those photos. So that's just what I have, and I just wanted to voice my concerns to y'all. Hopefully we can get something done about that.
Matt, is there anything you can update us with on that?
Yes, the property changed hands from Jeremy Webb to John Stair. I think it was via quick claim deed. And the house itself has a stop work notice on it. I met with them 2 days ago during that heavy rain. I guess it was 2 days ago, or before the weekend. It was raining cats and dogs that day, and they had stopped because of the rain. But there's a plan in place. There's no engineer study. I'm literally one bad day from requiring an engineer, a geoengineer for that. But the plan that we tentatively agreed on, that they are slowly doing, is the 8-foot wall at the base of the hill, and then a secondary wall up closer to the where it's to be cut out. So it's going to be a terrace type retention plan. And if all the dirt that's piled up there is supposed to make its way to another job site somewhere else, and we've left it with, there is no other work authorized on that site except for the repair of that slope. If I sense that John Stair, the new owner, is going to be delaying progress, then I'll be requiring engineer assessment at that point. But the house itself has a standing stop work notice on it. So that's the priority.
Does the property change in hands, that property's on the administrative judge's docket, I think, with a $1,500 fine, am I correct?
Well, it did it through, yes, you're correct, but it was through a quick claim deed, not a warranty, so he inherited any and all fines that go along with it.
Fine goes with the property. Okay. How's that collecting going?
Well,
Slowly? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we actually are doing pretty well on the total amount fined versus the total amount collected. We're actually collected a little over 45%. Is the last time I remember, based on what has been assessed. The Greenwood Drive has not been collected, but it's a smaller collection compared to the overall amount. We had a fairly large collection from the shopping center recently, over $9,000 worth of fines and work we collected from that. So we're a little over 45%, if last memory serves, of collection versus fines.
Well, when are we going to collect the $1,500?
Well, the way that's set up is the AHO is a lien against the property, just like any other code enforcement fine. It's not assessed on their taxes. And so whenever the property changes hand via title company, not like a quick claim deed, like if they're looking for a mortgage, or they're looking for a warranty deed of some sort, or they want to apply federal grants or state grants, at that point, generally, the fines, the liens, get paid off in the order of precedence. And code enforcement liens are usually low on the precedence level. That's why taxes and medical and TennCare all takes precedent. So when a property sells or is transferred or refinanced, all those higher precedent liens take priority. If there's money left over, then the code enforcement liens get paid. Generally how that works. Unless, of course, it's tax foreclosed, and a lot of times tax foreclosure extinguishes code enforcement liens right there.
Have you seen the wall they've put up, how crooked it is? Does that pass muster with us?
Yeah, it's not so much that it's crooked. It is an interlocking wall. It is a pre-engineered design. It's rated for up to 8 feet, and we issued a permit for that. As long as the
Give me them
blocks,
photographs.
as long as the blocks fit on the indention pieces that it's designed to, and that's a normal wall. I looked at it. That is a wall that is approved for an 8 foot in height. Anything higher requires engineer.
And the house that's behind it, is it affected in any way by this hill?
I think eventually it will be, if there's not something done with that terracing wall that I was telling you that goes further up the hill, absolutely. Yes, in fact, that is one of my primary concerns that's been communicated to both Jeremy Webb and John Stair, the new owner.
Yeah.
So,
That's looking at it, that was my biggest concern, because it looks like it could cause a lot of foundational issues.
well, so it's, the house seat of the property above is further back. What I'm more concerned about is just the continued erosion away and other trees. There's a tree that's up top there that if it continues to erode without any further addressing it, if they don't do anything, I would say within a year or so, that tree up there would be subject to falling down the hill. There's a fairly large tree if you're looking up the hill, slightly to the 1 o'clock position. I am concerned about that tree if they continue to let it be exposed. So, is it appropriate to require them to get an engineer? I think it is appropriate, but there is a plan that I feel, or at least the plan that we've agreed to, I would let them give it their best shot first. And then if it looks like, when I say best shot, educated guess that it's a terracing usually works in almost all landscaping, erosion control. I'm just using erosion control methods based on our license, and I'm following that. If it looks like it's not going to work or their quality of work falls in any way, I informed them both last week that I'll be requiring engineer assessment as well as a design for that, for the repair.
And do
So-
they have someone licensed building this wall and this
Well,
terrace?
Believe it or not, Jeremy Webb is now licensed. He is a licensed landscape architect, landscape contractor, as well as a residential contractor. So, believe it or not. But nonetheless, this is now John Stair's property. And any action taken will be against the property owner.
Thank you.
Matt, in all your travels in code enforcement, is there ever been a case, and I don't know if there's too much liability on the city, but if we go on these type of projects and they're not doing what needs to be done in a timely manner, has a city ever done it and billed it to the land
Oh, yes,
owner?
yes. Anytime we have to take code enforcement to correct an emergency measure, or if we deem it as an emergency measure, anytime we have to take any action, we take it upon ourselves to do the necessary repairs to make it safe, and then the money, the cost is then associated to a lien on the property as a code enforcement lien.
Well, in your opinion, how close are we to that?
All I have to do is see it slide one more time, I think. I feel like last week I told them I'm really teetering on the edge. I feel like there's the straw. I'm waiting for that straw, I guess you could say, that would break the camel's back kind of deal. At this point, I've waited long enough, and it's taken this long to get to this point, and I've had to stop work notice the house. So I feel like if they don't do something quickly, I feel like we need to do something.
I personally think we gave him long enough. And I understand I've always been told being the coach is tough. Well, I think it's time for coach to get tough on these people, and let's do what we need to do and get it straightened out. Because I can tell you, if I lived down there and that wall looked like that, that's an eyesore to everybody. And I don't really care about interlocking and all that. Let's get tough on them and do what we need to do and straighten the process up. A year is too long.
I agree.
I think what we can do, we'll get with Matt, is come up with a plan. We'll get an estimate, because this type job would be getting a contractor in here, because it would be pulling Public Works from their regular duties that really, and then probably have to rent a piece of equipment. We've got a contractor we've used. We did the same thing on the shopping center Matt was talking about. We had some major issues there. They wouldn't do it, so finally we just went in and put a pretty big lien on their property, which they end up paying. which is good. But once again, it's not our goal to find people, put liens on the property. Our goal is to get the property cleaned up. So we can get a price estimate from a contractor. At least we'll kind of know what we're talking about, and see where we can go from there.
This is just a general question about the process of the administrative hearing officer. Let's say there's a $1,000 lien put on it, but that doesn't sell for 5 years. Is there any way to escalate that with penalties? Like the initial fine is $1,000, but if it's still $1,000 after a year, it doubles, or?
I can answer this. If they don't correct the problem, we can take them back again.
Okay.
For additional fines.
Because in the old way, it just seemed like things went on and on and on and on forever, and we never got resolution, so.
Well, and that's in the Magnet Mills case. We still have some liens. You know, we got a couple of them paid, but we still have some liens on that property. And
Well,
we've
in the
been in
case of,
contact-
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Go
interrupt.
ahead. We've been in contact with Jerry Glenn here the last couple of weeks that they're trying to move something on it possibly.
So in the case of code enforcement, there is state laws that we will have to adopt into our ordinances that could elevate our codes enforcement liens to be collectible as a tax roll type situation. That's one way, but AHO is a separate animal altogether. And so it is always going to just be like a lower priority lien. However, you know, if we have to wait 5 years, so be it. Now, on the flip side, we did discuss, and I think Chris Phillips can speak on this, we did discuss at what point can a collection agent be called and find someone willing to pursue collection of these fines. Once we get a certain amount, it's worth their while. I believe that's a discussion we should rehab. But currently, our current due balance was not enough. The way I understand it, was not enough to get a collection agent willing to take on the job. See what I'm saying? But at some point, it will be enough.
Don, would you like these pictures back?
You can keep them if you like.
Okay,
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the discussion.
sir.
That was very, very helpful. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Good discussion. Communications from the mayor. We do have a proclamation, the Crime Victims' Rights Week, and that has been accepted in our agenda, and it's been duly noted. Also, a couple of things. I've talked to City Manager Houck the last couple of years as far as retirement dates and what he wants to do as far as ending his career with the city. How long have you been in the city now? 40-something years?
38.
38. And we've talked. I mean, because the ideal plan is, and I think we all know this, when we've had budget the last couple of years to hire an assistant city manager, but I certainly feel like we don't need to go too far out, 3 or 4 years to hire someone like that, because my feeling is you get them trained and get them going, then they're going to become very marketable, and they're going to leave for another job, and we're going to be left with no one. I'd always guess more about 12 or 18 months out to hire someone and train them and ride along with all you guys and get a good understanding, not just about the job, but also the interesting aspects of being a city manager in the city of Clinton. So we had a good discussion today. His contract is due to expire on June 30th, 2027. And we had discussed to make sure, there's a lot of things going on in the city right now, and he'd like to see those be completed. And bottom line is, he enjoys what he does, and he wants to stay around a little bit longer. So he had asked for his contract to be extended through June 30th of 2030. And I would open that up for a motion.
I'll
and we
make
can
that
have some
motion that we
discussion.
extend the contract.
And
Have a
second.
motion and a second? Discussion.
I don't think you change horses in the middle of the street. We got a lot going on, and I'm sure Roger wants to see it finished. And I think we ought to extend him that courtesy.
I think Roger's done a good job, and he's a good problem solver, and we don't have a lot of drama, and I like that.
Simple life, isn't it? Somebody said that over the weekend. Well, I'm very thankful that he is staying on. I think Roger's done a fantastic job, and I know some of you guys are waiting for him to leave, so y'all get to stay a little bit longer too, and that'd be good. So I'd certainly support that also. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And, you know, it's crazy. I mean, I'm personally, I'm a year and a half away from my term ending, and you start getting these calls, what are you going to do? You're going to run again? You're not going to run again? And to be honest with you guys, I know I've been around for a while, but I'm kind of like Roger. I've really enjoyed what I'm doing, and I think y'all see that. I really take this job seriously, and it's my way of giving back to the city I grew up in, and certainly a city that I love. So I just wanted to make an announcement so people stop calling me that I have full intentions of running again in 2026. So you can, sorry if that bothers some people, but hopefully most people, they'll be happy that I run for 4 more years. So just wanted to let that be known, and hopefully we'll get it in the Clinton Courier, and we'll move on.
Mayor, do you need a motion on that?
No motion on that, no motion on that. But again, if the people would like for me to run for 4 more years, I'd be proud to. So I just want to let that be known.
We should discuss it.
Yeah, no discussion.
Is there any discussion
No,
on that?
no discussion. Under committee reports, Clinton City School Board report, Kelly Johnson. Hey, before we go, well, you can come on up, but one thing, we are donating the fire truck based on your motion to Marlowe.
Yes.
And the truck's going to be at, that's Fire Hall number 3? Station 1 Longmire?
Yeah.
And at 5:30, is that right? We're going to have 5:30 or 6? 5. I think it's 5:30. Yes, 5:30. If you wanted to come and we're
When
gonna
is
have,
that?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 5:30?
Yeah, 5:30. We're going to have a picture and hand over the keys. So certainly like to support our volunteer fire departments in the county. Now, Ms. Johnson.
All right. Good evening. As you all were voting on Roger, just so you all know, we know that we're not a voting member of City Council, but you did have some ayes going on back there in complete support of that. I will tell you that I think Clinton is just in a very, very good place. Roger and I have a great working relationship. You all support the city schools in such an amazing manner, and truly our kids benefit from that. And when I travel to directors' meetings and I hear stories that are happening in other communities and fussing and fighting with funding bodies and all that, I just smile and keep my mouth closed because we have something indeed very special in Clinton. So tomorrow is Celebration Day. We're going to be taking about 60 boxes to UPS to ship off. TCAP is officially done. And so we are super excited that we have wrapped up this testing season, and we will ship all of that information back to the State Department tomorrow. It'll probably be about May 20th before we get our first round of quick scores. But we look forward to that, and then we begin the fun of 3rd grade promotion pathways and 4th grade adequate growth and all of that communication with parents. And then before you know it, summer school will pack up and we'll be going with that. Today, if you drive by the back of Clinton Elementary or the front of Central Office, you'll see that we got the striping done on our new parking lot. And so the parking lot striping is done, and while we were at it, we went ahead and redid all the whopping 5 parking spaces that we have in front of Central Office has been restriped as well. So now that TCAP is over, May is fast and furious. Something exciting is happening every single day in one of our schools. On May the 7th, all of our kids will be going to see Wendy at BizTown, and that is always a highlight with our 5th graders. They go, and if you want to see something amazing, just go see that day. And I think Wendy can attest that some of our kids are some of the most well-behaved, responsible, mature children that they see throughout the course of the year. But they spend half of their day as a consumer and half of their day is working. And it is amazing, the comments that they come out talking about how quickly their money went and how they worked really, really hard and did not make a lot. So it's a great day, and we look forward to them going in our partnership with JA. On May 14th will be the Clinton Elementary Annual Cookout with the fire department. We are holding one of those at each of the other schools. I will make sure that you all have those dates, but I know that Clinton Elementary is nearest to where most of you all work, so you all are more than welcome to come and have a hamburger on us that day and sit outside and watch our lovely firemen cook a fabulous hamburger meal for us. And then on May 22nd, of course, will be our 6th grade graduation at Clinton Community Center. I hear that last month, David Queener informed me that I said Clinton Elementary Auditorium. That is not correct. Even when we get our auditorium seats, it will not be enough to hold everybody. So we appreciate the city working with us on holding graduation there. Now the playground is done, all of our playground equipment for our new inclusive playground, that has been ordered, and so we are just waiting eagerly for that to arrive so that we can begin installation on that, hopefully for when we come back to school in August. So any questions for me?
Any questions for Kelly?
And Scott Ray does have a budget amendment tonight.
Thank you.
While we're waiting on him, I do have to say that Clinton City Schools, when they come to Biztown, their teachers and their students are way up here. I always brag about them. So I'm excited they'll be there.
What's happened to you, man? You're up here limping around and you look wore out.
I pulled a muscle on the left side, and it's my right side's hurting because I'm limping. It's just
Shouldn't have said no.
yeah.
Kelly's shaking her head, yes.
Played soccer
Should've
all
just
day
agreed.
Saturday with a bunch of 30-year-olds, and I'm 53, and I shouldn't do that anymore. Everybody should have the budget amendment that the school board approved in your packet. I'll just go over the highlights real quick. General purpose school fund. I've budgeted $400,000 for the auditorium and the playground, the auditorium seating and the playground. And we're funding that. We had a $500,000 increase in revenues for being an outstanding school district. So that's quite the accomplishment. Details on to how that came about would be more in Kelly's realm, but it's my understanding that we had 2 A's and a B, and with the voucher bill, some things were laid in there that if we got 2 A's and a B, then we get $500,000, which we will gladly accept. I don't know if that playground and the auditorium construction will be complete by June 30th, but just being conservative and putting that in the budget, some of that may, or all of it may fall into next year, possibly. But everything's budgeted as it should be. Federal Projects Fund budget was changed to match what's in E-Plan, which is approved by the state. All our federal projects are reimbursement grants. We spend the money as approved by the state. We get apply for reimbursement. We get that money back. School Nutrition Fund, we have a food service management contract. We pay per meal. I estimate that the number of meals that we're going to serve by year end has increased, so I have to have an offsetting revenue and cost for that increase in meals. So nothing that's being supported by the General Purpose School Fund for cafeteria. Cafeteria is self-sustaining, as it should be. So any questions on the budget amendment?
Any questions for Scott? Do I hear a motion for the approval of budget amendment number 3?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster? Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker? Councilwoman Manis?
Yes.
Mayor Burton?
Yes, budget amendment number 3 passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Mayor, can I go back and ask Kelly a question,
Yes, sir.
please? Hey, Kelly, when will we know what the tuition, if it's going to hit us? Is there a date and time that that we'll know about the tuition stuff? I mean, as far as the voucher stuff goes?
So May 15th, the application goes online for parents to register. So that will be 20,000 vouchers given out across the state of Tennessee. We don't have a time frame of like when I will know or when they will be accepted and if I will know what the impact of that is for Clinton City.
So will you know if somebody from Clinton City applies? We haven't,
I won't know if they apply, but I will know if they get accepted.
If they get
and
accepted.
Go to a private school,
Okay,
yes.
all right, thank you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask you when you
It'll
said.
probably be more like August before we have those figures.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
It's kind of like the transfer portal, isn't it?
Yeah, it sort of is. It's confusing.
Councilman Hatmaker isn't here for the Planning Commission report. Clinton Utilities Board report. Councilman Harrell?
Yes, couple things is, I talked to Chris, I don't think it made the packet, but I'm gonna try to do a little bit better job than Jim and do some meeting notes, summary.
That'll be hard.
I know. First thing that was discussed, I'd mentioned with, talked to Chief Little, is when you saw in California and the fire hydrants didn't work during the fire. So I asked some questions about that, and a lot of y'all may know this. I did in the top of the painted of the fire hydrant, kind of has the pressure and the amount of water you can get out of it. And for the most part, Clinton's is very good because that's a part of our, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jeff, but it's part of our ISO rating, and we have a very good ISO rating. But in talking to both Greg Fay and Greg Jones, it's something we can improve, but it's going to take time, make it even better, because the main problem is the hose, the pipe's too small going to the fire hydrant. So you can't dig them all up at once, so it's a gradual process. Second is they discussed the virtual power plant, and basically this saves CUB about $70,000 a month. It saved $13 million since 2011, and there's three components to it. One is direct load DLC, and that's a smart switch you get for hot water heaters and pool pumps. The ratepayer gets a one-time credit for that. Then there's another program called Demand Partnership, and that's with businesses and industries. They get a credit on their electric bill by lowering their demand in peak times. And then last is the dynamic voltage regulation. And basically the way that was explained to me is the power that comes into your house, we think of 120, it might really, it's a range between 114 and 126. And it's a little confusing, but 1/3 of the power bill they pay TVA is the highest, is determined by the highest 1 hour of usage of each month. So Todd Loggins tries to be a weather forecaster and predict when that 1 hour is going to be. And when they think it's going to be super hot one day and that might be it, they may take the range down to closer to 114. You don't notice in your house, but that's shaving off that peak demand, which saves a lot of money for us, and that's one reason our rates are so low. And then last but not, two more things. The operating budget's going to be presented in May to us on CUB board, and then we'll vote on the budget in June. And last but not least, CUB received a Diamond Safety Status Award. It's the highest award you can get for safety, and it's the second year in a row that they have won that. So, any questions?
Any questions for Rob?
I think something we had talked about was fire hydrants being taken out of service and not being repaired, and we pay, I think we pay rent. We pay a payment a monthly payment, if I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody told me it's $50 a month.
$50 a hydrant.
I brought
$50
that up,
hydrant.
and the kind of the comment back was that maybe it's not the best fire hydrant, but it's better to have something than nothing, is the way that was explained.
Well, this is nothing if they take it out of service completely.
Okay. I can follow up with
But I think the red, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, that if it's red, that they don't recommend you using that anyway. It's
No,
just
what
not
they're
enough
worried
water.
about is where we hook it to our trucks and you have more power pulling than they can produce, it'll
Yeah.
literally pull it out of the ground. They're usually 4-inch mains to them. Obviously, as me and Rob talked about, we'd like to get it to 6-inch minimum to get to an orange. We have to use at least an orange or higher to fight a fire. We can't use a red top. And there may be, and this is a guess, 8 to 10, 15 red in the city.
Do we pay rent on them?
I understand we do.
Yes. We pay rent on all of them.
But I'd like to be able to focus on those 8 or 10 or
Yes.
15, because I know some of them are close to some assets, if you will, that we need some water there. And,
I think it's more of a cost issue because of the
Yeah.
size of the pipe. You just can't
well,
go
but,
tearing them all up. But as you
but-
fix things, you
yeah.
need to kind of improve it. I think it's going to be more of a long-term
Long-term project.
project
Well,
versus,
but that project, we need to, I mean, it'd be nice to have a plan for that project, you know, with
well,
long-term.
Greg Jones said he'd love to work with Chief Little, so if that's not happening, I probably need to know. And
I hadn't heard from him since I, of course, talked to you.
yeah,
I mean, I'll
it'd be
give you
good
one
if y'all-
example. I mean, there's red that I can see all around Green McAdoo. We need some type of coverage up there.
Elevation has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Obviously.
we have a lot of elevation. I mean, you look at Westwood and even Mariners Point, that's a very new subdivision. And there's a lot of red in there. You notice those things when you know. But there's a lot of red out there that maybe shouldn't be.
I might suggest Chief Little reach out to Greg and just set some sort of workshop up.
Well, might be even better, maybe sit with Greg Jones and see what they can do on that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Any questions? Any more questions? Thanks, Rob. Catherine?
Good evening. I wanted to tell you guys that I spent the weekend at the Dogwood Arts Festival. We purchased a booth to hand out information about the Clinch River Antique Festival coming up and just information about Clinton in general. So I spent all weekend talking to people about Clinton, and you would not believe how many people said so many positive things about the direction that Clinton is headed in. They talked about Aspire and how amazing it is, which it is. They talked about what downtown is going to look like, and so many people said we just really think Clinton is up and coming. And there's no question that part of that is because of Roger Houck and his leadership over the last few years, and he's had to put up with me, so that says a lot too. And we haven't run him off if you're extending his contract, so I want to thank you for doing that as well. And then just a quick reminder that the Clinch River Antique Festival is this weekend on Friday and Saturday. So we've got food trucks and our antique vendors and artisans, and Wendy will be singing at 10 a.m. with her husband, so we're excited about that and all the other entertainment we have. We're very surprised that we're able to have it on Market Street this time around, and we'll see what the fall brings with that, but thank you for allowing us to put this event on. We have been working with Roger and Chief Campbell to make sure that we keep everybody safe while they're down there. So that's it for me.
Any questions for Catherine? I pray for good weather.
Thank you. Me too.
Spring is a little iffy.
Yeah, you
October's
never know.
usually a lot
Looks
better.
like we
but-
might have one day. The other one we need to keep praying about.
Yeah. Thank you. General Government Report, Mr.
Thank you,
Howell.
Mayor. First, before I start, I would like to thank Mayor and Council for extending my contract. Mayor Burton came to me several weeks ago and asked me to consider it. Something I thought about, but two main reasons I did consider it and wanted to stay is you guys. I mean, it's good to have a mayor and council that's good to work with, easy to work with, support me and support the other departments, so appreciate that. And the other thing is I enjoy working for the citizens. I've been here 38 years. I kid when I said I had the best job in the city till city council put me in as interim city manager and actually sent Carl Bailey to my office to drag me up here back in August 2010. But I do enjoy it, and we do have a lot of good things going. So my pleasure that you all let me stay on and see those through.
Great.
Some of the updates on some of those things. The pool project, I had the contractor and architect give me a detailed, and I gave you all some of it, copy of where we're at. The splash pad, they hope to have it done. It looks like good weather this week. They hope to have the splash pad done probably within the next week to week and a half. The concession, the restrooms, all of that's been renovated. Pretty much we gutted it. So it's all been redone. They hope to by, I think it's the third week of May, they'll have that done. The general contractor, which is Hicks Construction, they've got to finish the decking, the pool deck, and the area around the splash pad that's concrete. All that gets new concrete, so they're working on that. Hopefully by, I think, the week of the 16th, they will have that done. The last thing we have to do is actually plaster the pool, and the reason that's the last thing, because you don't want somebody else pouring concrete to stain it. So hopefully the week of around, the estimate they're giving us is the week of the 12th through the 16th, they'll come in and plaster the pool. Now, the only kickback, and I did not find this out till this morning, the architect found it out Friday. Once they plaster that pool, we have to let it set 30 days and cure out before we can put water in it. So what we're anticipating is a soft opening in early June of the new concession, locker rooms, and the splash pad. And then sometime later part of June, more than likely, which I think it'd be kind of neat to do, is 4th of July weekend, try to open the pool up. Being that said, being the first year of it, if we get it opened in July, and I'll talk to JB about it, we've not even had a chance to have this conversation, is well, problem with the outdoor pool is lifeguards. And a lot of them are high school kids or college kids, so they leave, and we're kind of stuck. But hopefully we could keep enough of them, maybe for this year at least, and maybe future years too. But when school goes back in, maybe if we have 2 or 3 guards that we can employ, we'll keep it open on weekends, at least through Labor Day, the pool part of it. Of course, splash pad will stay open longer than that. So that's just a quick update on the pool. Questions, anything? Traffic signal at Mariner Point, we finally got approval from TDOT. Our engineers are working right now with Powell Clinch Utility District to resolve a potential gas line, underground line that's probably going to have to be removed or actually rerouted. The final plans and bid books are being completed. We anticipate bid advertisements later this week. With bid opening, we set a date for June 10th of the bid opening. So if that's the case, we'll bring it to council on June 23rd for approval. General government report. Due to the Memorial Day holiday, we would recommend changing the May City Council meeting to Monday, May the 19th at 5:30.
Hear a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. And this one will take some explaining after I kind of read the report. And this is the Old National Guard Armory renovation project. 3 bids were received, with the low bid amount being $2,335,000. After evaluation of the bids and consulting with our project manager at East Tennessee Development and our architect, it has been determined to recommend the award of the low bid, with the understanding that we are going to negotiate a change order to remove some of the items from the scope of the project. We have also met with our partners, the Clinton City Schools and the Boys and Girls Club of Tennessee Valley, who are applying for additional funding to support this project. In order to move forward, we would therefore recommend awarding the bid to Skilled Services Quality Construction, $2,335,000. Our plan is, and we've talked about it, we got a federal grant, CDBG grant of $500,000 to pay for part of this project. With that being said, we had to award it as bid it for the 2.3, but we've met with the architect, had some discussion with the contractor that we're actually going to pull some things out of it to lower that, hopefully $150,000, $200,000 to get it down a little bit lower. We had originally budgeted probably about $800,000 for this project, so it did come in high. At low bid came in high. We had another bid at 2.8 and another bid at $3 million. So it's just, but I just think that's the times we're coming in. At this point, we either got to accept the bid because it's only good for 60 days, or we decide not to do the project. And it's, in my opinion, it's just too good of a building to let sit there. It's an investment for some of the activities. Of course, we're looking at a new program there that Kelly Johnson and Bart McFadden and Andy Wallace with ACETA have been working on 2 years, Kelly, 3 years, to provide child care for our essential workers with the city schools, and also our industries. So it's also will be a recruitment and a retention for our employees. Right now, our employees are paying on an average of $250 a week for child care. So if you've got 2 kids in child care, you're paying $24,000 a year, and then we're only paying our police and firemen $50,000. That's half their salaries. So if this is something we can get to really help, they'll still have to pay something, but not the full $250. But if this could be a great potential, I don't think anywhere else in the state offers this, so it'd be a one-time model that we're trying to put in place. On the other side, we met about a month ago. Bart McFadden with the Boys and Girls Club has found a Department of Human Services grant that is specifically for a project like this. Out of that grant, I think there's been a little over $2 million spent out of $15 million that's in the general fund of the state budget. So the Boys and Girls Club has to apply for it, and they are doing so. They're actually turning it in tomorrow. Kelly Johnson actually spent a week and a half writing the grant for them with input from the rest of us. So we're hoping, there's no guarantee, that we could possibly get 1.3 of that back of our part. Bart feels like there's a real good shot at it. Now, that being said, if we didn't, we're still looking at probably 1.5 the city would have in the project. And that being said, we do have some other projects coming down that we need to do right now. We're in the process, and I know council has been on it for a couple of years. The bowling alley has not had any improvements done to it since 1978. We're having trouble even getting parts now, so we're in the process of bidding that out. Probably will come in around $450, give or take a little bit. We got the pickleball courts that I signed the purchase order today on. That's $48,000. We got the traffic signal at Mariner Point. We just talked about it. Estimate on it was $380. I'd be shocked if it comes in at $380 the way things are coming in, but that would be good. So we've got about $2.5 million worth of projects that we need to do right now. Now, the good thing is our fund balance is a little over about $8.2 million unassigned, and with an assigned fund balance of about 2.3 and some change. So these projects will have to come out of our at this point right now, our unassigned fund balance, which will take it down to about $5.5 million. And that's comfortable. That's about where we were pre-COVID. So that's still a comfortable level, and that's still 30-40% above our policy on our fund balance that we put in some years ago. But the thing is, we've got another half a dozen, well, probably more close to 10 to 12 other projects that will have to be addressed within the next year or two. So there's going to have to be some careful thinking of how we're going to do that. I mean, there's a couple scenarios that we could look at, but we got the paving in the parks, the paving of the walking trails. We've got the major drainage issue that I've spoke to y'all about downtown, and that could be a very expensive project. So we've got some things coming soon that we may have to look at.
Could we just look, and I'm just saying, look, could we look at, maybe you get us some figures of if we had to borrow money, what that would look at? Because the park at the J.C. Park, the walking trail, there was a lady came to the Recreation Advisory meeting and was complaining about the walking trail, how dangerous it was getting. And I don't think that's been touched in 30-plus years.
It's been 30 years. It's been
or
every bit of
longer.
it, yeah. So
That's
I mean, we got
pretty good long time. That's pretty good while.
And everything we're talking about is capital projects. So I mean, yeah, you could, I could meet with a bond fund and ask them to put a capital plan together. Of course, I don't think we would want to do anything on any till we got the current debt paid off, and I'm sure it would be considerably less and still have a major savings. But it's going to be.
So one thing you didn't mention there was a fire hall at the interstate.
Yes, I forgot about that. I had a list here. We've made a commitment.
2000?
We didn't make a commitment. Back in '06, the master settlement says we have to put a fire hall up there at some time, and we've delayed it as much as possible. But we're working with the Anderson County EMA and the county mayor on the property that we've got to set aside to do a fire hall, what's it called? Emergency Operations Center.
Emergency Operations Center.
Mayor Frank got a $2.9 million grant to help with this project, but I think our estimates are around about 4.5. I think commission is willing to put some money in. Last I talked with her, they were looking at about $1 million if they've not already approved it. So we may have to put about $500,000 in that project. But then in turn two, you open a new fire hall, you gotta have a new fire truck. And the last one we bought was around $6,000. What was it? $650,000? I think the last one.
We still have the agreement with them where we're locked in at a price that just goes up periodically? We still have that, is that agreement good?
On the quick response, we still technically are locked in on that.
We still have one
That
smaller end.
wouldn't be what we need up there though, right?
Unless we rearrange and maybe ran it out of Blackyear or South Clinton, and then move the other engine up there.
But
Probably not.
regardless, you'd still have to buy something.
Still have to buy
a
something.
fire. So, I mean, we got some I just want to bring that to y'all's attention. We've got some potential big projects, and we're working on all of them. The first estimate we got on the downtown drainage was $3 million, which we felt high, so we met with another company about three weeks ago, plus Dwayne and Public Works are looking at and see if part of it could be done in-house. So just kind of be on the radar.
Well, I think the good thing is too, like you're saying, we're going to free up a lot of money this time next year.
And that's true, and that just depends on when some of these hit.
And we're saving every year. I mean, there's money rolling into our fund balance year after year without that $1 million plus debt that we're going to be paying off. So I think we could look at that too, as far as just planning, like David's saying, planning accordingly and have a plan in place. And I think, I would hope a lot of those things. I don't know about I think we need to build a fire hall sometime, because that commitment's gonna run out at some point. But I still think needs to be a good discussion and looking at the facts if we need to staff that fire hall. So I don't know if that's, I mean, that wasn't the case 5 or 8 years ago. We really didn't have a lot of calls out there.
If we build a new fire hall, we'll have to hire a minimum 6 more.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying building it and staffing it's 2 different things.
Yes.
I mean, what the need is for, I think we will at some point. I don't know if it's there right now, because the numbers that we saw years ago, it really didn't support staffing it.
I think those numbers might have changed a little
It
bit.
may have, I don't know.
We haven't done a study in a while, but I know we've had.
What's the
maybe we get more-
response time for our current structure to the interstate? Seemed like it was like less than 2 minutes.
Less than
No,
4.
it's probably closer to 4 to maybe less than 5, depending on traffic. Traffic's crazy, mornings and afternoons. So that slows us down as well.
But that's something we can look at.
Good. Motion. Need a motion.
What's the motion now?
I make a motion, we do approve the contract for the old National Guard Army building at, whatever Roger said, 2.3.
I have a motion here, second.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, it's been so long since we talked about it. Quick update on what they're doing, just a thumbnail sketch.
Well, once again, this building hadn't been touched since '98, I think, when the county schools were there. So it's a new roof, new heating and air, new windows. I think the windows are original back to the 50s.
Bathrooms.
ADA.
Okay.
It's not
It's a
having any
complete
ADA, so
remodel.
ADA bathroom,
Okay, overhaul.
ADA doors. It's a pretty major overhaul of it. The drop ceiling, of course, is old, so it's replacing it. And, things that we are going to cut out, there was some site work to be done on the parking lot for ADA. Public Works can do that. Originally, we'll paint it. We're not going to paint it. We'll pressure wash it and seal it. So we'll cut a bunch of that stuff out, though.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Finance, I'll defer to Chris.
All right, thank you, Roger. I'll be brief. This report is as of the end of March, which is 9 months into the fiscal year. We're about ready to start a new fiscal year. Hard to believe that. Nothing real out of the ordinary in this report. Revenues are at 76.7%. At 75% of the year. Expenditures are at 80%. You'll notice we've spent only about $1 million this year in capital so far. The lion's share of that is a swimming pool, which is grant funded. So this time last year, we'd spent about $4 million in capital. Roger already mentioned our fund balances. He was accurate on that. I've got a budget amendment, and then I can talk about local option sales tax unless you have any questions first on the monthly financial.
Any questions for Chris?
All right. I'll switch to the local option. The collections were $411,000, almost $412,000. Same period last year was $445,000, so we're down about 7.5% from that, but that's up from 2 years ago if you look at that. So far this year, we're down 2.5%, again, taking into account the 3 months that we had to pay back a protest of someone's taxes. Any questions on sales tax? Okay. Can I go into the budget amendment? Okay. Budget amendment is simply just to get some bigger things lined out. I'll have one, if not two more, this fiscal year. This is the second budget amendment, and I am, with this amendment, and don't get too excited, I'm increasing fund balance by $107,000 because I had nowhere else to put it until I do the final amendment. But basically, the big hitters are recognizing the $65,000 state forestry grant that we did that JB trimmed some trees at J.C. Park. And also, we had $34,000 that got reimbursed to us by the city of Greenville for the mutual aid that we provided after the hurricane came through. So that came directly from the city of Greenville, so that saved us a lot of headache and not having to get it from FEMA. And then we had some in-service pay that was pretty significant. So we've got an amendment for you for $156,137 in increase in expenditures and fund balance, and a decrease in other reserves.
Your motion for passage of budget amendment number 2.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster? Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker? Councilman Manus?
Yes.
And Mayor Burton.
Yes, budget amendment number 2 passes.
I have nothing further, Mayor.
Any other questions for Chris? Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
As Chris said, this is coming up the end of the fiscal year. We've been working on the budget since about early February. We did our final draft that we will be submitting probably by the next 2, either tomorrow or Wednesday. By the end of the month, it'll be on Dropbox with the explanation sheet, kind of the highlights of what's upcoming. Just a reminder, we'll do first reading on the 19th, second reading on June 23rd. There probably will be some tweaks in there because we won't have our certified rate on our new taxes with the new tax appraisals. So we'll get it here in a couple of weeks, so we may have to tweak it. But just kind of tell you, it was a tough budget year, probably the toughest we've had in 13 or 14 years. And this is a good thing that we did the new pay plan for our employees. This is the 3rd year of it, and we've increased every employee in the city by at least 20% their salaries since 2 years ago. So that's a good thing. The thing that really hit it that we wasn't expecting was the the equalization factor. Get that right. That hit us a couple years ago. We've lost over $1 million in lieu of from like CUB, ISON, and I think this year, and one of them went from 1.8 2 years ago to 1.3 that we're getting this year in revenue. Now some of that we'll see back next year with the new appraisals. Kind of equals that out, so we'll hopefully see some of that money back next year. But that's kind of the highlights of the budget. But we'll get that submitted.
Okay.
Next, good thing. Last Tuesday, we used MTAS, had an interview process, and the recommendation from the panel to me, and I agreed. Jim Campbell was promoted to full-time police chief last Tuesday afternoon. With that, Jim had several recommendations for the police department, so we kind of did a reorganization with several promotions, but Jim would like to get up and speak to two of those promotions he made directly.
Yes, Mayor Burton, Council, I want to say that I'm thankful and I'm proud to be entrusted with this role, okay, we get our best. I also wanted to say that I'm proud to introduce, as far as the upper accountability portion of our command staff, that's Captain Carl Bailey, who'll be over the patrol and investigation section, those primarily who go out and meet our people. And then also to Captain Brandon Floyd, who is going to be over our administrative side, which is primarily his role, that of training, but then support everywhere else. So it really nice way to start this out. And again, you'll get our best.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm really proud because all 3 of these guys, kind of like me, came up through the ranks. I know David worked with all 3 of them, I think, and so I think it's good that we can promote within, that we've got fine men and women that have come up through our ranks and trained and can take over these leadership roles. And I have every confidence in all 3 of these guys to be able to bring this department to the next level.
Yeah, the only mistake might be Bailey.
Bailey, Bailey, do you mind leaving the room for a minute?
Yeah, leave the room for a minute. I did play a part in all 3 of them coming here, and I'm proud of Jim, and Jim worked for me directly more than the other 2 did, but I'm proud of Jim Campbell, and I think he's going to do great things, and Carl and Brandon they'll do a good job too, and I'm proud of them. I think we're headed in the right direction there. It's been needed for a while.
Thank you, David. Public Works Department, we have 4 vehicles for surplus. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we have a 1977 John Deere grader, a 1992 GMC Sonoma pickup, a 1992 GMC C2500 pickup, and a 1985 Ford dump truck. I think we got our use out of these vehicles.
I think so.
Make a motion to surplus the vehicles that the city manager mentioned.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any other questions for Roger?
I've got a couple, Roger, with all these things we're doing, it might be good to update that list, that capital projects list you presented to us
We
before.
will.
Some things we've
We'll submit
marked
it.
off, and
We'll submit it with a budget. It may not get submitted with this first round of the operational budget, but it'll definitely, we'll have it for the, get it to you by the June meeting. We'll
Okay.
definitely update that. We've met with departments. Like you said, something, we did quite a bit. We did
Yes.
$5 million in 2 years in capital projects.
What's the lowest we can take the fund balance?
About 3 million, 3.5. It's 30% of our operational budget,
Which
I
is
think.
15 million, so,
Okay.
yeah.
I know we don't want to
So
probably do that, but that's why I said about borrowing money,
Well,
if we have to. That's just thinking outside the box a little bit.
I'd have to go back and look at the policy, but I don't think we can.
What?
I
Think
go
so.
below
think
our
we
our
passed
fund
something.
balance
Yeah, we
policy.
can't
put
get
it
it
in.
down, and we don't want to go
Yeah.
back like this was.
Was it 30% or 20% of our,
I think it's 20% of our operating expenditures, which would be 30%.
I think it'd be unwise to go below about 5 million. I mean, we're good, healthy, but that's a good rainy day fund if we
Yeah.
had something crazy.
speaking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm more proud of anything that we gave a 20% raise to our employees over the last few years. I think that just speaks highly right there. That's something that I actually ran on when I ran about our employees. It's some of the first conversations I started having with Roger was about our employees, and I'm more proud of that than I am anything that we've done here recently. And we've done a lot of good things, but that's something to really, we brought our pay up for our people, or we've tried to anyway.
And let's face it, we're in a very competitive market.
Most definitely, you got that right. We sure are.
Speaking
I'm
of
sorry, I didn't mean to
capital
interrupt.
projects, any paving we want to do this summer?
Well, at this point, no, not with these other projects.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have to, that's what I said, if we want to move forward with some of these, my recommendation is we get through these projects started, and then we just decide maybe even do a workshop in the fall and look at, what do we want to prioritize, take the capital list, and if more than likely, we'll have to put other projects off unless we decide to go to the bond fund to issue a loan or a capital note.
The last comment, I think all the waste pickup comments were going to Larry. I've gotten one recently. I tried to funnel them your way. But this one was a business owner that went 3 weeks without his trash being picked up.
Where at?
Just here local, very close to here. And what it was, he finally found out his cans were too close together. But, I mean, could that not have been solved by the driver?
They don't get out anymore. That's part of the new thing.
Well,
What
but could there have been some sort of communication from Waste Management to us, from the driver, and then we could forward it on to that person versus the way he got it fixed was he called City Hall, and they gave him a number to call Waste Management. I would suggest a better customer service model was we would have called Waste Management for him.
We actually put a post out Friday.
Okay.
Specifically showing, and it was almost like a cartoon, showing how you're supposed to put your cans, how far from obstacles, like you said, not having them together. I think the community center didn't get picked up the other day because theirs was so close together.
How do we
they couldn't
send that
grab 'em.
out?
We put it on our website. And we
A
send out-
busy businessman's not going to be searching for our website.
Well, it goes out on Facebook, social media, it goes off
What about
all
our
of them.
way we update storms and stuff? Could there be some sort of voicemail
Well,
sent out, or?
if it was downtown, if it was in the Market Street historic area, due to the construction, we're doing away with all the totes there and going to two centralized locations, got a dumpster on each
When's that
side.
gonna take effect?
Monday, Bill?
I think they were supposed to start picking up cans.
This week, yeah.
They were all kind of piled up. at the
They were all
corner of
piled up
Market
right at
Main.
Market Main. I
they're
don't know how
probably-
many, 8, 10, 12, something like that.
They're probably getting ready to pick them up, because that's right, we'll get them all off the street before the festival, then the business owners have the combinations to the dumpsters to be able to get in it.
I just think when we do the contract again, there's got to be some penalties or rebates if, you know, we get poor service, in my opinion.
I've lost my notes. Oh, if you noticed in last week's paper, and I can't find my notes, Norris had just rebid theirs, and theirs went to around 22 a household a month, and they have to pay for it. Ours is July 1. Our pickup is $1.92 a week per household. So we have a good contract from a financial standpoint. Just educating everybody, as you said, and that's what we put the flyer out, and we can continue doing things. The trucks, some of the trucks actually have cameras on them now, so they're sending us pictures. We had a street in town that they didn't get 5 or 6 of them, but I actually went up there myself, and there was 5 cars parked on the street, and they couldn't get to them. Councilman Hatmaker's not here, but I'll throw him under the bus. His didn't get picked up last month, but then he found out his son's friend was parked right in front of it. So a lot of times it's a combination of both. It's not saying it's perfect, but there's some other issues that we need to educate. Because before we went to this, you had a driver and 2 guys on the back, so they'd just go get your can wherever it was.
Yeah.
And empty it. But now they have to have clearance to be able to get to it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Are you through, Roger?
Yes, that's all.
Under first reading of new ordinances, we have ordinance number 696. This is the hotel motel tax. Make a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Roger, you'd like to kind of give us clip notes on that?
It's just historical history. Before, when we first initiated ours, the county already had a 5% tax, 5% hotel motel tax. State law, it caps it at 8. So the most the city could have was a 3%. Well, last Monday night, County Commission lowered theirs to 4, which will allow us to take ours to 4. It'll be about an additional $100,000 a year in revenue. Of course, the good thing, the customers at the hotels won't see a difference because it stays at 8. There's no change in it. Just who's getting the share of money shifts a little bit.
It's great. It's great. Any other questions for Roger? Or general questions? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster? Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker? Councilwoman Lanning?
Yes.
And Mayor Burton.
Yes, ordinance number 696 passes on first of 2 readings. Under resolutions, resolution number 847, this is a PE Partners, Safety Partners Matching Grant. Your motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second and a third. Any discussion? Roger, you'd like to give a little?
It's just, PE Partners is our liability insurance carrier and workers' comp, and it's just a safety grant they give out to cities each year. If you apply, pretty much if you apply for it, you get it. Most times it's between $5,000 and $10,000. Allows us to buy safety equipment for the various departments.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 847 passes. Do we still need to do this one too?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a federal requirement of the grant.
Resolution number 848, this is authorizing additional funding for the CDBG project CB-14950 daycare project, the Old National Guard Armory renovations.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I don't think we need any more conversation about this. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 848 passes. Any old business before us? Any new business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Means adjourned.